Alliance have done so well, particularly between Shook and Nif. You know, we saw so many kicks into hooks and flays. Great combo that they'd set themselves together. No Thresh this game, though, for Nif. I'm wondering now what is going to be the final ban for Alliance, and actually going for Orianna here, so not wanting Jesus to go in on that. What will the first pick be for SK, with the fact that choice of junglers pretty much is all there for them?
Yep.
And as you said, Twitch, highly sought after right
Lee Sin's generally been SK's first pick, but Jax is available, and they have been rooting for that one first. We'll see whether Lee Sin gets locked in. Of course, Ziggs is out there as well. Jez is one of his big champions for him. A lot of choices, of course. Again, that Twitch almost certainly will get picked up by Alliance if SK don't go for it here. Big yawn from Freddy.
I was going to say, this is not a place where you'd be bored as an Englishman. Certainly I'm not, at least.
Braum.
Yeah, Braum. Possibly the first lock-in here for SK
I'm not
Gaming.
sure, you know. I'm not sure that's first pick worthy right now, but it is going to get locked in. That does immediately insta-lock-in. There's Shook. And we just heard Wicked talking about it. Jax, I am bothered about Jax is available, and he may well take it as his top lane champion.
Yeah, it was almost as if the rest of the team said, we don't care if Jax goes over, and he said, well, actually, I do care. I do care. And obviously, he's going to get that here today. And Shook not really thinking even a second longer than he needed to about his jungle choice there. Lee Sin going to be picked up straight away for him. So, two very strong picks out of the gate for Alliance, really. I'm wondering now where SK are going to go.
I wonder if they're going to take away Morgana, maybe, because Nif will fall back to that champion. I wonder if that's where they're going to maybe focus. Ziggs, as I mentioned, Jez is big champion for him. He loves the long-range poke champions. It buys him a lot of time, and of course, the Ziggs in the team, everybody knows, can delay a game, and that's what works so well for SK, because they have that weak early game.
Yeah, and that's something that they've obviously either been working on or certainly should have been working on over the last couple of weeks, but the Ziggs gives you that almost a safety buffer to say that, okay, even if we're a little bit behind and they start sieging, we can clear everything out and stop them being too much of a problem. Also, Elise was locked in here for Svenskeren in the jungle, so the resurgence really of Vi and Jarvan champions like that in the jungle not going to be spotted in this one. We're sticking to that holy trinity, if you like, that we've been seeing in recent weeks with Elise for SK and Lee Sin over with Alliance. Now, onto the AD carry possibly here for Tabs. I think they'll be quite happy that in a second round of picks that they're going to get a Lucian, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely the champion he favors over Twitch, actually. And I talked about Tabs in the opening of this show. We'll see whether Anivia gets locked in yet. Definitely a crowd favorite, but unfortunately for Froggen, Anivia did not work for him against Gambit, which is why I feel it won't get played here. It is going to be a Yasuo. We just saw it fail twice, actually, by Exile in the last two NIP games. We'll see how Froggen deals with it this time around.
Yeah, and interesting as well, since really relying on Lee Sin to get things started on that front. We'll see what their final lock-in will be for the support role, though. On the other side, it's probably not going to be Teemo, if we're being honest with one another. Shyvana for the top lane note for Freddy with his Renekton already being banned away. And for Candy Panda, you know, he's a player who's liked to play things like Kog'Maw, like Twitch in the early stages as well. Graves not completely out of the question, but I think they're looking towards Kog'Maw, yeah.
Kog'Maw and Braum is a very, very dangerous combo. He can land a lot of those hits to get those stun out. He's got a very long range. He can get the slow down and manage to hit you off, so you can get stunned up if that combo lands. Of course, last time we saw Braum in the previous matchup for Voidal, there wasn't too many combos landing. I expect to see N-rated certainly getting a few more of those in there. Freddy, of course, on Shyvana to champion. We were kind of expecting he switched it. Picked up Twitch. The Rat has very, very good stats in the LCS right now. You can see 64.3% win rate for that Rat.
And the final pick here for Alliance, not messing around there. Nif going straight towards Gragas, a champion which Edward, of course, has played a lot in the European LCS so far. And that adds we were wondering about the knock-up scenario, you know, the kick from Lee Sin. Yes, it's going to be able to help you out with one or maybe more if you can knock him in the right direction, but with the barrel in there, it makes it a lot easier to pick whichever target you want.
Yeah, very impressed. Let's see how Nif's picked this one up, of course. As you mentioned, Eddie has been the only person, honestly, running Gragas in Europe, and nobody else went near it, but now Nif suddenly switching across. Morgana was available. It's a champion that he's generally run towards, but with Braum in there, he obviously felt they needed something. Gonna be interesting to see how this one works out between them. Both high damaging teams as well. The question is, can Alliance close out SK inside 40 minutes? And there's a Ziggs there. That's their record they always set themselves.
Yeah, that's the difficult question in this one, and I think they might be struggling with this Alliance duo lane as well. We saw earlier on in the season their game against Gambit where they really struggled out in the bottom lane. We are, of course, going to find out here pretty soon, and now that the players have selected their champion, which mid laner do you think will dominate? All you have to do is send a tweet to @LOLesports with #Jesus or #Froggen, and we'll take a look at your responses once we get in game.
Who is it going to work? Is it going to be Yasuo or Ziggs? That's the question. I'm not too sure. This is definitely an interesting setup, and more to the point, that Gragas that was selected for Alliance, he is really the only AP damage they've got, which is potentially a problem for Alliance if the game is to go late, and it always generally does against SK.
And we saw in the last game that they weren't really focusing on making sure there was armor in the team. I think that might change this time around, though.
Yeah, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The LCS first game of the day is underway. It's a battle for the top of the table here in London, Wembley Arena. SK Gaming starting out as the blue team, up against Alliance as the red team. We'll see whether we have any of these level 1 engages. We didn't see either of them in the Challenger Series matches. They were very much stale, opening early setups. And I got a feeling that nobody wants to be too risky, but SK are moving in numbers towards this top area.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is the kind of game that you really want to be taking risks, or that these teams are going to be wanting to risk things at the very start of the game. We'll have to see, though, as we see a pretty big stack from SK on the top side. In fact, 4 men going to be going inside of the Alliance jungle here, joined now by N-Rated as well. So full 5-man invade on the top side, getting some early wards down.
Yeah, good catch there from the Sonic Wave, giving them vision of SK moving in. You saw them ping out the points actually on the map. They want to get these 3 wards down, it seems. They want to go very deep in that top area. Wicked was thinking about coming around the back of him. I'm not too sure that was a wise choice, and you can see very good coverage from SK. Very early vision. Shook's going to come around, does manage to land the Sonic Wave on Svensko, delaying him just for a short period, and that actually slows them down. They wanted to all back away from that one. But Candy Panda's going to run guard duty alongside him. Jez is blocking this one off, and everybody will back away. Meanwhile, down the bottom area, you can see there was an invade from Alliance as well. They got themselves wards deep in the red territory. Tabs and Nif doing a little bit of dancing.
A beard shake from Gragas down there. SK actually sticking fairly close to that enemy red buff side, and actually Svenska and Candy Pan are going to go back in here. We do have Shook and Wicked waiting around. There'll be an early ward spot coming out from Alliance, but it's Wicked that is going to be being focused, but it's just a couple of auto attacks trying to force them away from this red buff start, which of course now will slow Shook down, means that he has to cross over onto that red, onto his blue side of the jungle to get the start, and that Svenskron will get the first buff of the game.
Yeah, that's a red buff steal coming out from SK Gaming, and it's a slow reaction for Alliance. They're going to have to run all the way down this bottom end. You can see there's a ward just covering them off there. They're going to start off with the blue instead, going straight in, hitting that smite immediately, and then it's going to give a lot of time, free time in that top lane for Candy Panda and N-Rated to just continue free farm the lane. Nifs is going to ward out this red buff. You can see that Wicked's already making his way around it, so they absolutely want to focus this next.
Yeah, Wicked moving down. Svenskron will be, Shook will be there in just a moment as well. He's just finished off the Alliance blue buff. So as we see him move around, Svenskron is already doing the blue buff of his own, and Wicked's going to be helping things out with Nif, offering a bit of zone control on the top side just to make sure that Jesus doesn't come down with a sneaky bouncing bomb to try and steal that one away. Meanwhile, Tabs having the time to farm down here in the bottom lane. Same, however, can be said up in the top side of the map where Candy Panda and N-Rated free farming as well.
Dangerous time for Freddy in that bot lane. There is 4 members of Alliance. They could go for an early tower dive, and he knows it. Yeah, quickly wards that one out. Realizes the danger. Is actually going to get surrounded here. This minion wave will push in. They have the siege minion with them as well, and now Freddy's going to have to get the hell out of there. Wicked's going to have Counter-Strike available. It will lock up Freddy. Can they kick him towards it? Good flash straight away there. They're not going to get enough slowdown, and Freddy will escape this one. Good 4-man invade, but Freddy read it.
Yeah, really holding on to his flash there until the moment where he felt, okay, this makes sense to get away from. He took the Counter-Strike like a real man and ended up surviving that one. However, it means now that he's got no flash available, could then be an easy target moving forward for Alliance, but pretty much mirror image here, except there's, quite frankly, more men for SK Gaming up on the top side of the map. This mid lane also been fairly quiet up until now. Froggen got a slight lead on the experience and CS in that one, and they may now try and move around for Jesus as well.
Yeah, There's 4 members here. Jesus, can they make him burn his flash or his ignite? They're going to power around. That's a very early counter-strike that landed and just locked him straight up. Nothing he could do about that. Couldn't even react, couldn't flash. He was dead.
That was an incredible move from Alliance, and maybe you'd expect that to happen after 4 men were down in the bottom. Then, of course, they all went missing after trying to lock down Freddy. But either way, they changed everything that they need to. No flash for Jesus means that he goes down for the first blood here in Alliance's favor. That kill actually went over to Shook, so we'll see how that all develops. Currently, Alliance moving in for a very, very early Dragon. Less than 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, interesting. Without the elites, we've been seeing these obviously 3.5-minute Dragons over in North America and Korea. Sven's going well on top of this one. He has got the elites, of course. Freddy is level 3 as well. They're going to try and harass as much as they can. That Dragon will do a lot of damage at this level. Jesus comes around, bouncing bombs are surrounded here. He's going to go in. It is going to be smited out by Shook. Now can they pick up kills? They're going to go towards Freddy. No flash available for on towards Wicked. That's how he can flash across and get that counter-strike down. SK do harass, but it was a Dragon for Alliance. It's a great bit of starting for Alliance here.
Yeah, and not quite the kills there for Alliance that they would have wanted, but again, they forced a flash out of Svenska, and he had to get out of the back of that Dragon Pit as Nifia going very aggressive towards Freddy and Rayton. Gonna get a couple of knocks on. They should be able to stun him up, but Nif going very low. Will flash, but there is Shook as well. Freddy down to less than half HP. The shield coming out from Enrated will block most of that damage through, and again, 2 very low players, but no kill.
Vital safeguard from Shook there, managing to save his support Nif, doing a lot of damage. We've seen, of course, Edward, as you mentioned, tanking out, taking so much damage, and it's a big, big problem with Gragas players, but Nif hasn't backed away yet. There's still 3 members of SK here. He gets caught out once again. Shook is sticking around. Nif happy to just chug through those barrels and keep himself alive.
And staying there as well. However, once these minions start getting underneath the tower, more HP over with SK Gaming. Good bit of CC as well from that Cocoon, but no risks here being put in. Meanwhile, the top lane, Tabs, this entire time been farming, and sorry, not Tabs, Candy Pan, of course, in place for SK in the AD carry role. And that's a big vote, 94% for Froggen.
And honestly, look at the CS right now. The moment that goes down, Froggen has a gigantic advantage. Remember, Jesus, of course, did go down. He was ganked out, but 52-29 right now for Froggen up against Jesus. Huge, huge CS advantage. Of course, the kill assist went across to Froggen as well, so he has a very big lead right now, taking away these rates every time because Shook has not been there. He's not been taking his own jungle. He's been assisting the lanes non-stop.
Well, that's working out brilliantly for Froggen as well. He'll have a good chunk of gold to go home and spend here momentarily. Meanwhile, that top lane's still being pressured, and now Svenska gonna make an appearance up there. Wicked needs to back away from this 3 versus 1. Not something that he really wants to take. Actually saw Svenska coming up thanks to that Tribush ward, which will be scouted out by the pink ward of Enrated. But we'll see the control that SK have on this top side of the jungle, getting some good deep vision down. They're gonna steal away the red buff for a second time.
Yeah, Wicked, despite the fact Jax is generally a tough champion to dive early on, Candy Panda is already 6. Jesus is already 6, so big combo of damage coming their way if it was to land in the same time. Wicked instead having to continue going around, taking these wraiths away. He's going to get the support of Froggen, who is 4 levels ahead of him. So at the moment, Wicked is hurting in this game compared to Freddy, who is level 5. You can see in this bottom lane. So Wicked needs to get himself some experience and gold on the board.
Svenska moving over to this mid lane, probably needs to give a bit of help there to Jesus as well. We said it before that Froggen got a healthy lead up until now, and stealing away those wraiths only helping his cause. There goes the barrel in. Actually, wasn't stolen away, so close, but not quite. Or actually, did he? I think he might have even got that one in the end. Either way, nicely done from Nif, who's sat right now at level 4, and it's going to be interesting once he actually hits 6 and whether Alliance then think, okay, this is the point where we can start grouping up a little bit more and trying to take some team fights, with Froggen especially being ahead.
Yeah, Froggen taking his own raids once again. This bottom lane, Freddy is about to hit level 6, not too far away from that one. You can see Tab's already there. Candy Pan has been on his own in this top lane though, and up against Wicked, who has just hit level 4. Blue buff, of course, going across to Jesus. No surprises there. Braum is up in the top. We also see Svenska's making his way up, and again, Wicked is in danger. He may have to jump away from this one. He has got Leap Strike available. They may try and lock him up before he does it. He does jump away. Now Freddy caught at the bottom.
Yeah, this is dangerous for them now. Lots of damage coming out from Tabs. There's the ultimate used by Freddy, having to back away once his tower goes down. Did have his flash as well, so wouldn't have been in the most of trouble either way. Should have been safe and didn't have to use his flash in the end. However, turret did go down at the top, so that leaves us at 1 apiece on that front. Gold slightly in advantage for Alliance this stage. I say slightly, it's 1,000 gold, 9 minutes into the game, and we've seen the static shift has already been done here for Frog.
Still a big issue for Wicked in the top lane. Again, he's going to get stunned up. Good counter-strike there, stopping the basic attacks from Candy Panda. Defended that stun so he can't come out, but he needs help in this top lane. Nif is making his way up there. Is he going to be a little bit too late? Wicked's trying to bait him out there. Well, Nif does take the knock there from Enrated.
And Candy Panda actually was tanking up the turret as well, which didn't really help their cause. Frog and Shook was starting to move up towards that top lane as well, so I think rightly so. SK deciding to leave that one as is, and we'll start to back away from things. However, this mid lane there, and Jesus going to get knocked up. Has Froggen got the damage? Good satchel charge will actually push Jesus back towards the safety of that tower, but Froggen showing that he's not scared to have a try and see what he can do.
Yeah, he had a 2-level advantage there as well, built up that static shiv, and very well played from Jez. He's got that satchel charge out very quickly to bounce him back into the safety of his turret. Of course, with that blue buff on him, Froggen looking to try and take advantage. And there's not too much love between these mid laners as well. We know certainly off the rift that they have some choice words for one another. It hasn't really been made too public though, until now.
Good job, team.
But these guys, they don't get on too well, despite the fact they are fellow Danes.
That might actually be the problem.
That is generally the problem.
At the same time. Froggen here moving down towards this bottom lane. What's he looking for? Candy Panda is there, just pushing out that wave. Not sure he's going to get into position to do anything to Candy Panda, but will have himself a free wave. And it's what it said it before, that SK in the early stages of most games have looked a little bit suspect. Their strength really comes towards the mid game, towards the later game as well, and we know that Jez is only going to be getting strong despite having a bit of a ropey farming time in mid against Frog, and he's now got that Morella Nomicon picked up here, but Alliance with the Dragon Spawn already get into position.
Look at this though, Froggen is 3 levels ahead of everyone there. Jesus just pings into level 8, currently dominating this one. Dragon will go across to Alliance unless Enrated can sneak in and do something similar. Instead, Sven's going into sorts of trouble. Tab's actually putting the double tap back down on him. Complete control by Alliance there.
Really nicely done, and with the cocoon, they couldn't even follow up onto it. That's the thing, they are behind at this stage. The threat of Froggen still very real. Didn't have Wicked there. Freddy stuck in that top lane, both actually having teleport available, so we'll see how this top lane all starts to work out. Right now, it's a very big lead for Freddy, 61 to 29 CS, although because of that global gold, they're actually really even, only a 50 gold difference between them.
He's just trying to stay away from Freddy right now and get as much as that passive experience he can do, trying to absorb it. He's not getting the last hits, but he's at least getting the experience. He is, of course, a level behind Freddy, which is why he doesn't want to get involved in this one. Hasn't really been able to get enough gold to buy anything. Froggen is roaming and looking for kills, and it seems that mid lane is the focus of Jez's.
Oh, this could be dangerous for him, or not. Jesus, I think, reading this one, the fact is Froggen's been gone for a while. Nif not being spotted here as well as the raid camp started off, but you see Jesus quite far away. Oh, the barrel tries to read him, and Jesus says, nope, I'm not that obvious, goes to the top side. Good try from Alliance, and those are the kind of risks you have to take. I mean, if you were to look at it another way and that would have worked out for them, could have been a second kill.
Yeah, Nif was clearly about to back off anyway, so there's like no reason to stop the cooldown on this ultimate. It's a very quick cooldown as well, so just trying to create a play. Candy Panda back in this bottom line, but you can see Froggen quick to defend it and putting a heck of a lot of damage out towards them. He is a big roaming threat right now for Alliance. It's almost going back to how they played in the spring, honestly, for Alliance here, with Froggen being the man roaming out the side lanes. He's going to potentially be the split pusher, and he is at the moment, because Wicked simply can't keep up with Freddy at the moment.
Have a look at the overall picture, almost 13.5 minutes. Again, going close. Actually, we'll get the knock-up. Candy Panda was still there. They'd seen Svenskron already. Wise, I think, on the overall picture for Froggen not to go through onto that one and try and pick himself up another kill. But back to the fact that the gold is well and truly in favor of Alliance here. 2,000 gold. 13.5 minutes into the match.
Speaking of gold, Froggen is sitting on 2,000 gold right now, yet to go back and make a purchase. Now he's about to go back. We'll see if he goes towards that BF sword, whether he goes towards the Infinity Edge, whether he decides to split across the Blade of the Rune King, which we have seen a number of times. There it is, it's going to be Blade of the Rune King coming out for him first time around this time. Shook, well, he's just claiming out the blue buff because simply put, Froggen doesn't need it, doesn't care for it, so he's getting his farm on as well. He's just slightly ahead of Svenskeren as well.
Really nicely. We did see how the Blade of the Ruin King was finished for Candy Panda. May just give him a little bit more confidence when it comes to down in that bottom lane, which I'm imagining is going to be freezing up for as long as he possibly can here. He's got a big wave going down. Meanwhile, blue buff will come up on the other side of the map, and SK will give this one over to Jesus on Ziggs, who still about 40 CS behind, being pretty constant, that kind of ratio that he's been behind Froggen for this entire game, but is still Ziggs, and he's still going to get to a point where it's hard to break through it.
That's it, and you can see obviously Froggen's been roaming all over the place and actually has fell back a little bit. He did have a 2-3 level advantage over Jez's. It's just down to 1 level now. They are grouping, they've been trying to make plays, and it's not quite worked out for them. They did get the Dragon, of course, a moment ago. They are still even in turrets, and this is a long laning phase, honestly, from both these teams. 15 minutes in. It's kind of what we expected. The first game of the LCS, top of the table clash. Nobody wants to make early mistakes.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, because for me, SK Gaming have said themselves, and we've seen time and time again, that the late game really is their good position, as Freddy may be in trouble. He will get stunned up ever so slightly, but he's already jumped away from it. And Kent still has his flash available, should he need to back away, even trying for a sneaky steal there from Shook on the goal. And so we can see the confidence of Freddy, not even backing away, even knowing that Shook was around.
Yeah, he's got a big advantage over Wicked, so he's quite happy to deal with him. 2v1 may be a bit of a problem, and look at this though. Froggen caught out. Will he try and turn this one back around? Wimwall goes in. Hasn't got his ultimate available. Now he does. Catches up and is N-rated. Good flash from Candy Panda to avoid the damage. Really well worked by that duo pairing.
Really well done, and again coming in with the stealth. That's what I wanted. Now that Blade of the Ruin King is done, how aggressive will SK be? Shows us right there. They were waiting for N-rated to get in position, and not a lot that Froggen could really do to avoid that one, but that gives the kill. Okay, it went over to N-rated, which I'm sure Candy Panda would have really liked to have that one kill on him, but either way, nicely done, and that will add a bit of doubt to Froggen's mind as well. Maybe stop him being so confident in pushing out on this bottom side of the map and continuing that farm, although that itself has now come down to just 20. Jesus continues to bring that back.
Yeah, I'd love to get a slow-mo on the replay of that one for Candy Panda, just how quick he reacted to flash it away on that wind wall from Froggen, trying to not get that knock-up on towards him. Shook now may get phased out in Svenskeren here, and I'm not too sure he wants his fight. You can see he's got the supportive nip. They may try and collapse towards him. They need to really land in their skill shots this time around. Where's he going to repel to? But look at SK, they're all closing the gap. They managed to catch on towards Svenskeren. This time around, they will lock him down just before the Dragon is up. Now N-rated's focused on towards him. You can see they're diving all around him. He's going to go down. Froggen gets himself another. The Dragon up in 30 seconds. SK just at the wrong point called out.
Costly mistake there as well. Svenskeren just wandering through, wanted to see exactly what was going on down by that tri-bush area. Didn't actually throw a ward out in all of that, and Alliance were, unfortunately for Svenskeren, already in position, just coming through. Okay, dodgy sidestep the Q first of all out of Shook, but in fact, also he had the flash in there, was able to lock them up with the kills, with a kick, and that leaves Alliance 3-1 up in kills, and probably more importantly, as you mentioned, the Dragon coming up 30 seconds after that last little skirmish. This is going to go to Alliance. There's no one around for SK Gaming at all, except Jesus, who doesn't even have his ultimate, so we can forget that.
Yeah, clean pickup, hasn't got that Mega Inferno bomb to steal it away. Top lane is still going heavily in favor of Freddy, though. It's going to be a case of when Freddy gets involved in these team fights, which, as we know, will be a while yet. He's farming out in that top lane. He's going to get himself a Sunfire Cape right now. While that's all happening, Wicked is starting to get back into this one. Still a lot of damage going on there. Froggen and Jesus continuing to go tit for tat in that mid lane. Nobody really committing.
Yeah, and again, a satchel charge, which has possibly saved his life there. Jesus, we already saw that earlier on in the game, and again was able to not just jump himself to safety, but knock Froggen away from things as well. So let's have a look now once again as we're about to hit that 20-minute mark. Alliance's gold lead getting bigger, 28,000 to, let's call it 25, just a couple of hundred gold away from that point. Still 3-1 in kills, and still the towers tied up at 1 apiece. Just the top outer turret that's down on Alliance side of the map, and the bottom outer turret for SK. As again, Candy Panda gets in position with the help of N-rated. We saw him earlier on take down Froggen. Probably wouldn't be too scared of tabs at this stage either.
Yet to see Jesus actually throwing an aggressive Mega Inferno bomb out. Satchel charges away from Shook, so he does not get caught out. Froggen now back in this mid lane. still yet to complete that Blade of the Rune King. He has got 1,700 gold on him, so he could do with buying here. Uh-oh, Svenskeren caught out once again. Good cocoon on towards him, but Nif has that explosive cast, going to knock him straight sideways. He's got nowhere to go this time around. Svenskeren caught out once again. It's another kill for Froggen.
Yeah, and we may see Freddy even being in trouble now as well. Froggen going to move in on this one. There's the knock up. The ulti going to come through. Freddy tries to flash the ulti, but Wicked will follow him on. And that is Froggen picking up another kill, going 3-1-2. And yes, the barrel from Nif missed again, but it had the same effect. We saw Svenskeren stepping back towards their team to get the kill. The consolation here for SK, though, is that they're pushing up the mid lane. They've got 2 men. They've taken the outer turret. They may have a good chunk of damage to put on the inner one as well.
Great reactions from SK, but also down the bottom lane is going to be Tabs pushing on towards that inner turret as well. Quickly, Svenskeren is going to respawn and react to that one. Top lane will go down for Alliance, but that's 2 mid turrets taken by SK Gaming. Fantastic reactions to get in and get those towers down.
And that's where SK have really excelled all season long. These split-second decisions almost to push down towers, to go quickly for the objectives. As Candy Panda and Rated, you need to be a little careful about this one. There's the ulti going out. Not going to do all that much as a wind wall comes down. Candy Panda trying to escape through the team. Tab's actually going to chase him off on this one, and it's enough. The stealth lasting long enough to get Candy Panda right around the backside.
Balls of solid steel from Candy Panda there, just strolls on past the entire team. Lucky that nobody checked that out there. Nobody went for the sweeping lenses. Blue buff steel is going to be started by Alliance, though. Of course, they just lost their own one, which is why they're going to come around. Shook is actually low on health, though. And SK are reacting very well to this. They're all moving across. They know that this is coming. We did just see Braum, of course, using that ultimate, so N-Rated won't have that available to him. Svenskeren is just off the side. They can smite it away. Candy Panda just ready to let loose with that rat-a-tat-tat. Nif's gone very deep. Mega Inferno Bomb lands on no one. And Alliance can turn his back around. N-Rated goes aggressive. Gets kicked straight away. They're collapsing on towards Alliance. They're running for their lives right now. Sugar's going to get caught out. Safeguards away. Froggen looking to go back in, but he's going to catch the entire SK team. They're trying to collapse on towards him to get the stun knock up. Froggen goes down. It's Candy Panda with the kill. Wicked was way too late to that fight.
Nowhere near the fight, and we can see the teleport not available for Wicked, and that is bad news for Alliance, and the whole combo just didn't really work for them. We saw Nif going into it very early on. There was no follow through there from Froggen either. We saw the kick coming through as well, and just not working out the way that Alliance, I'm pretty sure, had envisaged that one.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. You can see the difference between the goal in the jungle right now. Shook massive advantage because Svenskeren's just simply been caught out a few too many times in that jungle. Trying to get those wards, those deep vision wards in there. Freddy will get away from Wicked, who leaps in there. Wicked, by the way, is quietly going about his business. He couldn't really get too involved in it because he's only got the Blade of the Rune King. He's slowly getting his farm on, though. He's been a long way behind Freddy for the majority of the game, but that has stayed the same. It hasn't fell any further away. So once he starts getting that farm on, we know what a late Jax can be like. He's actually kept up in levels as well with Freddy, so he just needs to get himself some free time, which he's got in the top lane. If you look at it, big amount of wards because of that red buff fight. He's happy to push that wave around.
And the 3 assists to his name counted things out on that front. Also, we see the last whisper in there for Tabs on top of his Bloodthirst. Again, down in this bottom lane, Candy Panda gonna wait for his support to come around and maybe think about Froggen, but Shook is also there as well. Candy Panda will spot him and say, okay, nope, we thought we might get a Froggen, but actually Shook was there, so let's not bother with that one. Let's not risk it.
Do not want that one, that's for sure. So they step away from that one. I think that was the first Mega Inferno Bomb I've seen Jazz has thrown out so far. Didn't quite land, didn't do enough, but SK came out on top nevertheless. And Alliance, I think, have slowed down a little bit here because they just realized, you know, while we had some great plays in the top there, we did lose 2 big objectives in that mid lane, which are key towers, honestly. So it may well slow this game down a little bit right now. 23 minutes gone, just 7 kills on the board. Definitely a slower pace than the Challenger Series matches. I'll tell you what, Nif and Shook, if they don't move, they're going to get caught here.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. Is, you know, the whole 2 objectives, 2 towers down in this mid lane. Usually SK would start to push up a little bit here, get some vision down in the Alliance jungle, but Alliance are actually holding them pretty much at the halfway point here at the river. In fact, Alliance themselves have some wards down on that top side, so I think that's stopping SK having as much freedom as you may expect in this stage of the game, having those 2 towers in the mid lane down. However, should give them the advantage over the Dragon area, as Candy Panda are just going to scout out. But look at this, Alliance moving around. They need to be careful about SK's reaction, who may just go straight up middle or go for the fight.
Come around the side, N-Rated doesn't land too much on there. It's going to be a delicate dance between these two, and you got to keep your eye on Candy Panda and Tabs. Those two AD carries are going to be so vital in this fight. Wicked's going to be the man they're pouncing towards. He's keeping that dragon down. He's tanking a lot of the damage down. The Cullen being used as well. There's no smite available. Finally, Shook goes in. He gets the smite down. Svenskern's going to get jumped on. Wicked gets the kill on towards him. Candy Panda focused. He goes down. Shook on towards him as well. And Rated now focused down. Another kill for Alliance comes in. Shook will get the kill. And that was a 3-for-1. Freddy gets away, but the Dragon also went Alliance's way. They came out with everything in that fight.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure how much Jesus has really offered to that fight. He manages to survive it in the end, but having to back away from things. Alliance, again, coming out big with that one. 8 2-in kills. Let's have another look through this one. We see there Jesus off towards the top side. Wicked doing a good job of dealing the damage over to Svenskern, which they couldn't do much about. Shook comes in there for the Dragon, and you see Jesus knocked straight away from it. They're just ignoring him. They don't care about him even.
Well, I mean, he's got not a great deal of damage. Meanwhile, the Baron is Froggen actually jumping on towards Freddy. Freddy very low here. He's going to get caught out. Satchel Charge bounced him away, but they're going to catch him out with that win once again. And Froggen with another kill. They also picked up the Baron as well. Alliance in full control now over SK.
And we saw so many early bans on Yasuo, or towards Froggen with Yasuo, when we first saw Yasuo come into the LCS. When that finally got through, Froggen's performance on it was average. I think it's lackluster. That's a nicer word to use for that, I think. But today, just showing why is probably worth a ban. Tim, they threw the likes of Nidalee in the bans towards Froggen, but so far everything working out nicely for him. You see Nif as well. Gragas, a new support pick for him, sat with no kills, no deaths, but there's 6 assists in there as well, and really doing well here at Lion Save, closing in on a 10,000 gold lead as well. Not looking good for SK, but again, we fall back to the old standard almost of there's a Ziggs in the team. It could be harder as things go on for Alliance to close out this game.
Look at those gold differentials. You can see Wicked. He was so far behind, but now look. 1,500 gold advantage over Freddy because of all the global objectives they've been getting, all those dragons, those barons they've been collecting out there. Shook trying to think about going towards N-rated. He just quickly puts that Unbreakable up, making sure he doesn't come pouncing in towards him. Alliance now, with this baron, they need to focus on this mid lane. They know that's where they're going to go. SK looking to defend it, but honestly, I'm not sure they can hold this one. Blue buff will get stolen away, unless Candy Panda manages to ninja something out here. It's going to be easy steal for them, and SK, they've got to be careful they don't get full-on tower dive here, because I think Alliance have the damage to take them.
Yeah, they catch on the right start of things, and that may just be it. Shook getting the kick off to the side, and no follow through there by Alliance. Did not get rated a little bit further down on the health, but let's watch these minion waves here. Taken away quickly, we see the Colin being used, but that minion wave is already gone. Alliance obviously not feeling comfortable at this stage to tank up too much, but the turret is taking a couple of hits here and there as they start to push through. Without Candy Panda, they're probably not going to be able to defend that turret, but he wants a red buff to come in case that fight goes.
They don't have a solid recognizable tank right now. Wicked hasn't got to that stage. He's only got a chain vest and needs Tabby on there in terms of armor. But remember, Alliance are chasing potentially a losing battle here with a solid AAD comp, but they are going to take this tower down, just tank it straight through. Now Enrage is going to have to get away from this one. Wicked doing everything he can to block all the damage from SK, and that was a solid performance. They've got the regen, of course, from the Baron, and no problem there. They just walked up and took it. They felt they maybe could have pushed SK further there.
Yeah, and Froggen really the one that just moves in there and says, look guys, I'm going to tank this one up, do some damage to the tower, let's get that one out of things and maybe start to strangle SK in this one. As we said before, SK get into reactionary towers in that middle lane earlier on in the match, but up until now, it's really all Alliance that are going to be controlling the pace of the game. We already see the walls past the halfway point of the river from Alliance's side of things, and again, closing in on towards that 10,000 gold lead, which in less than 2 minutes as Dragon is going to be coming up, could be a reality.
So Enrated trying to regain some of that vision that SK have lost in and around that river area, but Alliance pushing up once again in numbers in this mid lane. SK a little slow to react this time. You can see Candy Panda's down the bottom. Freddy is making his way up here. Wicked is keeping that split push going, which may be the focus target actually. This may be Alliance just simply keeping them busy in the mid while he gets around, and they can just rotate towards that top tower and take it down quickly. They're going to see how SK react to it. There they go, heading straight off towards that tower. The next wave will come in. They're going to clear out the walls and get straight across there. SK need to move. Candy Panda's not with them, and that's a big portion of SK's wave clear. Of course, Jez's has got that Mega Inferno Bomb. If he needs to use it, just wipe out that wave.
See about that one. He's going to throw quite a lot through. Shield comes up from Enrated as Jez's attack blocked by that wind wall. And Alliance happy with it. 2 or 3 auto attacks onto the turret from Tabs, and they just start to move away. There's a couple of wards to be cleared out up on the Baron side, which Enrated got down a little bit earlier on, but it seems to me like Alliance really thinking about this next dragon that comes into play in 3/4 of a minute's time.
Yeah, Baron buff gone down now, so Alliance don't want to keep that pressure on. As you mentioned, Dragon is up shortly, so quickly Alliance split off, ward up everything they can, get ready to come back for that Dragon in just a couple of moments' time. SK Gaming, will they try and compete for it? They're 9,000 gold behind. That's a big, big amount. Candy Panda, though, if he lands in the right situation, in the right moment, in the right place, he can get a lot of damage down. He's got that Ghost Blade on there alongside that Blade of the Rune King. But, honestly, it's going to be a tough call because Wicked is going to pounce towards him, Froggen's going to go towards him, Shulk's going to go towards him, Nif almost certainly is going to throw his ultimate towards him, so everything is focused on Candy Panda. That's obviously why he's picked up that Banshee's Veil so early on.
Yeah, and that's funnily enough how we saw the last game between these two teams end, with Candy Panda being spotted out in stealth and then going down for it. There's another Dragon, all 5 this game, going over to Alliance. And we pointed out in the pre-game, the problem that they had against Gambit last week was that there was just no control over Dragon whatsoever. Can't say the same this game though. 100% of the 5 going over to Alliance, and that means that they are in such great control. The 10,000 gold lead has now been broken out by Alliance, and that with just 1 minute to go until the next Baron comes into the game. All or nothing at this stage for SK, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Alliance actually play this one out for the next Baron as well. I don't think they're in any rush to take these towers down. It doesn't seem in true, I guess you could say, CLG EU style. They are playing it by the numbers. They don't need to risk anything. There's a lot on the line for this team. If they can win this match, they go very clear in that top lane. A 9-2 record is something they can definitely look forward to having. Ready very cautiously with that burnout run. He makes his escape, but he knows the entire vision and the entire position of Alliance. And look at SK. They're trying to react to this one. They're trying to shove in that mid lane, force Alliance to react, and they have to do that. They have to get back across because those 2 inner turrets already gone down in that mid lane, and that delays them once again. But the Baron fight will be beginning in 20 seconds. The ward control, look at that, 3 pink wards. They try I guess you could say, in that river area. Completely covered off by Alliance. They have full vision here. SK will have to be very, very risky if they go and try and even compete with this one.
And that's part of the problem here for SK. Even if they push down middle, there is the knockup. They're going to go for Svensson. Good little repel from him in that one, and the TP's coming down as well. Wicked joins the fight, and after all that thrown their way, no kills, not really much health lost even across the board.
A couple of ultimates used. Froggen and Nif using his. Rat-tat-tat was used by Candy Panda as well. Mega Inferno Bomb didn't come out. They're trying to set up a death bush, but SK Gaming not even remotely close to this one. Candy Panda stealthing. Oh, he's passing a ward. They know he's there. They're running straight into it, but it's another good Unbreakable coming out. It stops everything, mitigates all of that damage, and now Wicked gonna get focused on here. Wicked's in all sorts of trouble. The bombs are coming through. The Mega Inferno Bomb just gets used out. Nicely done. Jesus gets himself 1 kill, but Alliance can turn this one around. They've got so much damage and gold that they have the damage to just turn it around, despite the fact it's a 4-on-5. They come through. Tabs gets ready down. They jump on towards him. Jesus off the side there. Tabs is all over him. Sonya's Hourglass simply takes his life for a couple of seconds. It's a double for Tabs, and Rating gets taken down. And Shook that picks up the kill. And despite the fact they lost the top laners so early on in that fight, they just had so much damage and defensive duty to turn it around. It's a Baron for Alliance.
And the great thing there, Froggen managing to get a 4, maybe even it was a 5-man knockup, keep them under control. Sadly didn't have his ultimate because it had been used already in that last little encounter, but they've done enough to pick up 3 kills to force the other 2 men away, and that gives them free reign here on Baron number 2. All Dragons, of course all Barons at this stage, going over to Alliance. They are a country mile ahead in this game.
Yeah, 3,000 gold on both Shook and Tabs right now, so they're going to go back and find themselves something juicy, that's for sure. Tabs going to continue to get all of the farm he can, because why not? Why not get everything else in your jungle? So, SK Gaming, they've managed to defend for a while. They still have Jezzes in there, and they did get a kill, but as was proven there, they can't fight in open ground like that. They need a tower, really, to use just to assist them, if anything, here. And Alliance, now with the Baron, surely have to push for one of these inner turrets. They've got all the 3 lanes of waves to push, though. SK have done a very good job of keeping those waves away from their own towers.
And I'm a little bit worried for SK in the fact, of course, they're miles behind in this game, but going tanky pretty much across the board. There's Elise there who's gone tanky items. We see that Freddy's not got his Blade of the Ruined King finished up until now. Candy Panda went for the 3rd item of the Banshee's Veil, and Sonya's was picked up in there as well for Jesus. So even when they do get into these fights, not only are they behind, but you know, they're decently tanky, but they're not putting down enough damage to burst through what Alliance have got of them. And then you've got Froggen, who's got Infinity Edge, Blade of the Ruined King, Static Shiv, and the Banshee's Veil, and the tanky items behind that one as well. Not really much competition, I'd say, afraid for SK's side of things. As Froggen going to dive in, they're going on towards Freddy, who takes a chunk of damage, but Froggen was tanking up the turret. Didn't really want to go behind it. They'll take the turret, though. That's the 4th of the game. Meanwhile, this mid lane being pressured a little bit by Wicked as well.
Candy Panda thought about sneaking around the back of Tabs there, but now actually Enrated's in trouble as well. Jezzes, they're going to get focused on the side there. The Culling doing just about enough damage to force Jezzes away from this tower. They may have enough damage and wave clear to keep Alliance at bay right now. Candy Panda so close to getting around the back of Tabs there. I think he may would have gone for it. He may well have tried his look there. It could have worked.
Nothing to lose from SK's side of things. I mean, they are so far behind in this one that if they don't pull off something, if they don't force a mistake from Alliance, they'll have a pixel-perfect team fight in this one. They're in trouble, and there is the Cocoon onto Froggen. No follow-up, though. And in the meantime, Tabs and Wicked just tanking up this turret. Slowly but surely, he's going to go down.
Yeah, Wicked has that Randian's Omen now, so he's just so strong. He can tank out the turret. Has the damage to back it up, and Tabs, of course, you just look at his items, he's stacked out. SK Gaming stepping away from this inner turret. That's the 5th one of the game for Alliance. Just that bottom inner turret remaining for them, and they may keep pushing. That Baron buff has still got around about 90 seconds left on it, so they've got plenty of time to keep playing with these minion waves.
And going to keep doing that as well. And the thing is, SK can't afford to lose Jezus here. They can't afford to have that wave clear taken away from them, because you've seen it already. Alliance will just step in there. Wicked not afraid to tank up that turret with his randoms, with the Banshee's Veil in there as well. See, step forward, and the whole time Tab's just having to go on the turret. As soon as anyone gets close, he backs away. Ultimate out of Nif, knocking Candy Panda away from the team. No fight after that.
Well, it was a disengage, and then maybe even trying to bait them out there, trying to force SK to come out of the base a little bit. We also saw Tabs, he was very close to being stunned up, so had to dash out just at the right moment. Freddy caught out, not going to get dived in by Froggen. Tabs taken very low this time around. Shook goes in, he doesn't quite land it, safeguards across though. He's clear, and this Baron buff, the regen's still going. Around about 20 seconds left on this one for Alliance.
Problem the wind wall offers as well here for Alliance. Stops a lot of what Jezus can even throw out there. Stops Candy Panda getting down the damage onto those minions, or onto Alliance if it even goes that far through. And again, they step forward. Wind wall goes down. Colin actually smashing through Freddy there as well. Trying to get in for the knockups. The slow onto Shook. SK hold on to it. And this is what Alliance are going to have to break through here. We've seen them now pushing away as the Baron buff actually times out. They know if the time is on the Dragon. They've controlled every single one up until now, and this one's going to be no different. And it really wouldn't surprise me to see Alliance waiting out for a 3rd, possibly final Baron.
Yeah, it's a reset once again for Alliance. They've got to kill waves, get the top and bottom waves back in towards it. They did get 2 turrets from that Baron push, but they're going to wait for the next one, I think, to spawn back up. That'll be in 3 minutes time as that Baron just wears off. Froggen going to shove this wave in. Giant stacks of gold on these players, by the way. You can see, again, Alliance really clocking up the numbers. 4.6k gold advantage for Froggen over Jezus right now. Gigantic differences, and they are really showing. But, coming up to 40 minutes, SK Gaming, with 51k gold, are starting to get a lot of items themselves. So Alliance, you can tell, they are being very cautious when they attack these towers. They know, without that Baron buff, it's a problem. A simple catch out, if Candy Panda and Jezus can combine their damage in the right place, it could take Alliance down, and they're very much aware of that, and that's why Alliance, despite the fact we can see that they're 17,000 gold ahead, are being so cautious.
Being cautious about it, and just added a bit more tankiness even into the lineup. The Thorn Mail for Shook. We've actually got 2 lockets in there as well. couple of Banshees Veils, so they will be feeling a little bit more stronger coming into this next possible encounter here in the mid lane, as that's a good cocoon from Svenska, with a TP from Wicked coming right into the middle of them. They're going to get a stun on towards Enrated, but the back away as Enrated does manage to mitigate most of the damage that Alliance have pushed at him.
Yeah, fantastic Unbreakable there, just coming out at the right time. Again, Alliance tried desperately, trying to make a play, trying to catch somebody out from SK Gaming, but they are so defensively minded and cautious right now. They have the wave clear, they have everything under their control in their own base. They can't go outside the base. Alliance have full domination around that area. They did get out and get a couple of wards down as well. You can look around the river, you can see they have vision of the Baron pit area. 51 seconds on that Baron, and it's going to have to be a cheeky steal from SK. They can't go straight up in a 5v5 fight right now, but they may be able to get a steal in there, get something to turn it around. It's what they did last time they fought.
And you have to feel that it falls to Jesus really on that front, throw his ultimate in there at perfect timing, which of course becomes very difficult to do once you lose the wards that are going down. Not going to have vision of that Baron when it comes up here in 25 seconds. SK starting a little bit to move out onto the top side of their own jungle, but just too dangerous. They've got no wards really further down. It's kind of sweep as you go for SK Gaming on that front. They will, however, push this middle wave out a little bit over that halfway point. That's actually forcing Alliance to move around and react to this somewhat rather than going straight towards the Baron.
Trying desperately to get some vision, but Alliance are clearing it out just as quick as SK can place it. Not allowing them in there. Baron has respawned, and SK are aware of this one. Alliance, they're not being as sneaky as they think, maybe, I don't think here. SK are well aware of the dangers of going in towards that bush. I don't think they're likely to just stroll on in. They played that game one too many times with Fnatic last week, and they did manage to catch themselves out. Alliance have so much damage. This Baron is going down very quickly. SK are too slow to react. That's a Baron for Alliance.
Yep, Baron going over to Alliance, third one of the game, and will it be the final one? We're going to find out here shortly. Actually, Alliance stepping forward, that's a good minefield. Actually will slow them down, but SK somewhat out of position for a mid lane defense. The minions coming in with Alliance, you already know they don't particularly care about having minions there, with Shook having so much armor, with Wicked having so much as well, and in the end with a minion wave on the top lane, they're going to go straight in for this one. Shook going straight to the front, there's the ultimate, going to go towards Candy Panda down to half. This is going to be the tower.
Tower goes down, Freddy Mega focused on his big tanky target right now. They're going to lock up onto Nif, but look at that, they just can't even take down the support. Explosive satchel, everything thrown towards Nif, and he just tanked through the whole lot. As Svenska piling on towards him, he just strolls away, no problem there. Alliance are way ahead of SK, and they can't even take down with a focused target on that support.
And they're going to keep trying to break through this one as well and just wait for a solid knock-up, and they could end up diving straight onto this one. Enrated going to go a little bit lower from that. Freddy still a half HP. Wicked not too scared of either of them. And look at Alliance, they're tanking on for the damage. Going to sit in there. Froggen did actually flash away from that one, but Freddy now going to be focused. The inhibitor is going to go down. Jesus off to the side. Last seconds on his hourglass, but the Culling already running. That will get them the first. The rest of SK here, though, going to be ripped to pieces. Candy Panda just about gets onto the fountain in the end, but that is a 3 for nothing, and surely the game for Alliance.
Absolutely fantastic performance, solid play from Alliance. They continue to hold top of the table. 9 wins and 2 losses now. Alliance take down SK Gaming.
Really solid performance out of Alliance, and there was a lot of faith from you guys at home. We saw the LoL Esports vote earlier on, 77% I believe it was, and Alliance coming flying out the gate, starting with Frog and having such a solid early game. Jesus was dominated, to be frank, in that mid lane. Funnily enough, the CS by the end was around the same kind of totals that he was behind from that one before, but Alliance here showing that, alright, they lost out to Gambit last week, then they got that win, that base race win against Fnatic to kind of get them back on the horse and ensure that there was no mini slump to follow the disappointment of losing your 7-1 record, and they come back into today taking down what is their biggest competition in the LCS right now.
Yeah, the start of a new win streak maybe. 2 wins now for Alliance. We'll see how far that can go, because overall, I mean, everybody played well. You know, Wicked was taken out of the game quite heavily. SK clearly targeted that focus to maybe put him on his back foot, but he held his ground, didn't get caught out, didn't get any sloppy plays. He escaped a couple of times. We saw Freddy doing the same thing as well. A lot of focus on the 2 top laners at the start, and clearly it was all about the mid lane in the end of the day, because Solid performance by Frog, and way ahead of Jesus, 3 levels ahead of Jesus.